Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Momita, moderator for the conference call. We welcome you all to Q4 FY22 and full year 2022 conference call of Subros Limited, hosted by Aditya Birla Money. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and then 0 on your touchtone telephone. Please note this conference is recorded. I would now like to hand over the floor to Mr. Vidru Mehta from Aditya Birla Money. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Aditya Birla Money, we welcome you all to Q4 FY22 and full year FY22 earnings conference call of Subros. From the management side, we have Mr. Pramod Kumar Duggal, CEO, and Mr. Hemant Kumar Agrawal, CFO and VP Finance. Before we start, may I remind you of Safe Harbor. There may be some forward-looking statements that have to be understood in conjunction with the uncertainty and the risk that company faces. Now I'll hand over the call to the management for opening remarks, followed by interactive Q&A session. Thank you, and over to you, Duggal sir.
Thank you, Vidrum. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is P.K. Duggal. Warm welcome to all of you for Subros investor call for quarter 4, 21-22, and also for the year 21-22. The Indian automotive industry drove into FY23 with a very positive mindset on its quest to reach the pre-pandemic level of sales volume, having built a solid foundation in FY22 despite the semiconductor shortage hampering production. While on the other hand we see a revival in the vehicle demand, on the other hand the high commodity prices and semiconductor crunch has aggravated problem for auto manufacturers, which is causing a major concern for the industry per se. The increasing price of commodities in India has resulted a record high price of the new and used vehicle in the country. Despite all odds in the industry has grown in FY22 at 19% during the year. Still, key challenges for the supply chain disruption are commodity price escalations, logistic disruptions, crude oil price volatility, and available ships and containers. The result of quarter 4 2022 and for the year have been shared with the stock exchange. You must have chance to see that. Let me elaborate on the summary of the results one by one. First, I'll update about the industry, relevant part of our business. In this quarter, passenger vehicle industry has shown a growth of 2% on production basis in comparison of corresponding quarter of the last year. However, on annual basis, PV industry has registered a growth of 19%. Whereas Subros passenger vehicle segment thermal product growth in quarter 4 is 3% in comparison with corresponding quarter of the last year. However, it has grown by 24% on annual basis. So we have done better than the industry performance due to model mix and also SOP of the new projects in quarter 4. Commercial vehicle bus has registered 47% growth during the year, whereas Subros has grown by 61% in comparison to last corresponding year. Though the tourism sector, school bus business and public transports are not still fully operational, but ambulance sales is happening to fill up the deficit, and also each state government is improving on their medical infrastructure to deal with emerging situation of COVID in future. On commercial vehicle truck segment for N2 and N3 category, which is relevant for AC or a blower industry, the industry has shown upside trend after 2 years. The industry has grown by 43% in FY22 as compared to corresponding last year, whereas Subros has grown by 29% in this segment during the year. Growth is mainly because of more AC fitment ratio and consumer preference of shifting towards AC truck as compared to normal truck. After extended lockdown, in view of opening marketplaces in various parts of the country, the overall home appliance industry has also shown growth. In this year, the home air con sales has grown by 3% as compared to the corresponding quarter of the last year, and 43% on annual performance basis. The total sales in home air con segment by Subros is 127 crores. Revenue from operation has been recorded at 681 crore in this quarter, whereas corresponding quarter was 659.93 crores. There is overall 3% growth over the corresponding quarter and 24% growth for the year. Let me explain each segment-wise contribution to the sale during the quarter. In this quarter, car versus non-car segment contribution is 89% and 11% respectively. Maruti Suzuki and Suzuki Motor Gujarat has contributed roughly 78% of the total sales during the quarter, as against 79% in corresponding quarter. There is a 1% improvement here. In this quarter, Home AC has contributed 60 crore rupees of revenue, which is approximately 9% of overall revenue of Subros. Our share of business in passenger vehicle air conditioning market is 40%, although it is lower by 2% from FY21 because of drop of share of Maruti overall. And in truck segment, we are at 43% share of business, and bus segment, we are having 27% share of business. Now, let me talk about the operational performance. As I mentioned before, there are a lot of challenges in supply chain, which has never been experienced by anyone so far. Commodity price increase, logistic cost escalation have impacted the margin in big way. Significant increase in lead time of import shipment and subsequent reduction of schedule by OEM due to semiconductor shortage has impacted the overall inventory level, which has increased by almost 10 to 15% and blocking the cash flows. Still, we are able to survive and maintain our cash management efficiently. Commodity price fluctuation on the upside to the extent of 30 to 40% during last 6 months have impacted substantially on the material sales ratio. Though there is a compensation formula on the regular commodities with OEM, but there is a quarter or a periodic lag. In some cases, it is 6-month lag. Further, on non-regular commodity, which is used by our sub-supplier, there is a cost impact to us as well. We are in discussion with customer for compensation of such fluctuation also for future. Container demand and supply imbalance causing steep price increase of import consignment, diesel price increase leading to increase in logistic costs are also key contributors of margin stress. The company has realized EBITDA of 49.88 crores in quarter 4 of FY22 as against EBITDA of 40 crores in last quarter, which is 24% more than this quarter. If we compare EBITDA margin of the year versus last year, it is decreased by 3%. And if we compare EBITDA with the corresponding quarter 4, it is down by 24%. Profit before tax in quarter 4 is 21.19 crore, which is 3.12% of the net sales. If we compare PBT margin against quarter 3 of current year, it has improved by 83%. If we compare PBT margin for the year versus last year, it is decreased by 19%. And if we compare PBT with the corresponding period of quarter 4, it is down by 46%. Profit after tax in quarter 4 is 16.94 crores, which is 2.49% of the net sale. So let me now briefly summarize the overall result. The revenue is 681 crore in quarter 4 and 2,238 crore in FY22 with a growth of 25%. EBITDA is 49.88 crore in quarter 4 and 158 crores in FY22. PBT is 21 crores in quarter 4 and 45.39 crore in 12 months. And PAT is 16.94 crore in quarter 4 and 32.59 crores in FY22. On the overall business update, business performance of quarter 4 is better than quarter 3. Semiconductor availability and other challenges are still ongoing and substantial impact of commodities, as I mentioned before. Now, relatively better visibility about the future scenario based on the OEM projection which we received so far. The mobility landscape with a fundamental transform over the next 10 to 15 years is the reality now, and we are now evolving our product strategy for EV segment also. All our preparation for launching of EV products is in alignment with customer plan. Our products are at final stage of validation with the customer, and we are hopeful that our penetration of EV segment, both in passenger vehicle, bus segment, and other mobility area would be benefited as per the transformation which is happening in the sector. Business expansion in rail coach AC is also improving now. We are at the last leg of RDSO approval, and based on that, we will be participating in large tenders which are planned for this year and the next year. Development activities of all the new programs, because in the last call we advised or we informed that we got large orders from the OEM for up to 2025 SOPs. So all programs are as per the schedule, and we are progressing based on the customer milestones. Just an update on Maruti-Toyota Alliance project, which will be produced in Toyota Kirloskar, Bangalore. Our plant preparation at Chennai is completed now, and we are waiting for the SOP, which is scheduled in August or September. So all the preparation for this supplies have already been lined up, and we will be starting this project as per the customer milestone. Thank you very much from my side. Now we are ready to take questions.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. If you have a question, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad and wait for your turn to ask the question. If you would like to withdraw your request, you may do so by pressing star and 1 again. So our first question from Mr. Ashutosh Tiwari from Equirus. Please go ahead, sir. So Mr. Tiwari has taken back his question. We'll move to the next person. It's Mr. Abhishek Jain from Dolat Capital. Please go ahead, sir.
Thanks for opportunity and congrats for decent set of numbers in a tough quarter. Sir, in FY22, domestic PV growth was 19% on production basis, while the revenue growth was 24% in passenger vehicle AC segment. That means realization growth was only 4 to 5% in FY22. And that shows a small part of RM inflation was passed to the client. So how much under recovery is expected to pass in FY23?
Can you repeat the last part of your question? It was not very clearly audible.
So revenue growth was 24% in passenger vehicle AC segment versus the 19% production growth in industry. That means realization growth is only 4 to 5%. And that shows the small part of RM inflation was passed to the client.
Okay, so it is not that 19% is industry growth on the quantity and 24% growth at Subros is not that only relevant for the price correction, but it is also based on the model mix because there are certain models where we have secured business now which was not with us before. So that is one. And second, of course, there is a price correction impact due to the inflation factor. So it is mix of both.
So, what was the volume and a realization growth in the mix of 24% in passenger vehicle AC segment?
So I may not have a very direct answer, but I may say that it may be out of 24%, 2 or 2.5% would be for the price correction, and rest would be the volume growth.
Okay. On the margin side, the gross margin is contracting from last many quarters, which is used to be 30%. Now it has come down to 23%. So that shows that still a lot of the under recovery is there. So and just wanted to know what negotiation is going with the client especially for the pass on the non-regular commodities?
There are two aspects to this. One is that whatever compensation we are getting from customer, it is not marked up with 30% gross margin. It is one-to-one. So if we are getting, say, 100 rupees in impact in cost, the 100 rupees given in the price. So that will definitely impact on the overall gross margin. Second point is, yes, there are certain under recoveries which are related to tier 2, tier 3 commodities used by the supplier at tier 2, tier 3 level. They are not part of our contract for compensation. So we are now negotiating with the customer to even cover for that also. But since the overall pricing pressure is there on the OEM, still they are at a negotiation stage. But we are hopeful that next 2 quarters will be able to reconcile that also.
So what would be the key driver for the margin expansion, and what is your medium-term margin target?
So key driver for us now is to very aggressively push for the localization. For whatever remaining part we have almost 17-18% import content still available. So one of the key driver is to push localization, and we have made a very aggressive plan now for next 3 years that we need to bring it to less than 10% quickly. So that is part one. Second is that since now last 2 years we have been struggling for even fixed cost management because volumes were dropped and there were lockdowns available and there were almost no production month also available. So during this time, due to the austerity measures, all operational efficiencies have been built up now. So when this volume will grow up, definitely there will be a proportionate benefit on the margin side.
So can we expect the double-digit margin what you were making earlier in FY23 or 24?
I'll say it will not be fully recovered, but yes, there would be a substantial improvement going forward. Now, maybe in quarter 4, you will see a substantial improvement in both gross margin as well as for EBITDA.
Okay, sir. And my next question is related with the home AC segment. You have done around 1.3 billion in this year. And what is your target for FY23?
So we are planning almost 20% growth in home AC segment now in FY23.
But sir, in the last year, first half was quite low, and the base is quite low. So can we expect 2 to 2.5 billion kind of the revenue in this year?
Potentially we can. Opportunities are available, but we are very mindful of our margin protection also because commodity impact in home aircon is extraordinarily high. And in this segment, customer is very conservative in terms of compensating such fluctuation. So I am a little bit conservative while giving you this figure, but it may be better, it may go better, provided we get a proper compensation and not to sacrifice on our margins.
Okay, sir. And sir, as you mentioned earlier that backward integration would be the only solution to improve margin in the home AC segment. So how is the progress there?
So we are in discussion with few technology providers for the backward integration. The discussions are still on. We have not yet signed off anything, but yes, progress is positive.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. That's all from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. So our next question from Mr. Ashutosh Tiwari from Equirus. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, hi. Firstly, I got lost earlier. This MSIL Toyota Alliance project, what parts you are supplying over there?
So for that Maruti Toyota Joint Alliance project, we will be supplying HVAC, compressor, radiator, hose and pipe. So other than condenser, all parts are being supplied by Subros.
Okay. And we were also supposed to supply this HVAC panel, right? Achha, no, that's different. Sorry. So this is one project, and we also mentioned 3 projects won in the PPT. What are those basically? Can you highlight?
Three projects. Can you repeat?
Yeah, in the PPT is mentioned that in Q4 we have won 3 projects, 3 SOP of 3 new projects in Q4.
That is SOP. So that means the new Baleno is SOP done. That was done on January 22.
Okay.
There is YHP, that is Artiga minor change also is done during this period, and also one project of Mahindra also done during this period.
So were we not supplying any parts earlier? There is an increase in value content over here, or similar only as earlier?
In Baleno, there is no change in the overall content. Yes, no, there is a change because condenser is added, so almost 1200 to 1400 rupees per kit will be the delta incremental revenue coming from that SOP. Brezza, this Artiga, there is no change in scope. Mahindra, yes, there would be a change in scope of around 12,000 rupees.
And is this, which model is this supplying to?
For?
Which model of Mahindra is supplying to? This 12,000 rupees content?
That is R upgrade.
R.
Yeah.
And you are not supplying it to Thar earlier, in the earlier model?
There is an upgrade. I'm saying there is a Thar upgrade. Earlier was also there, but now there is a model change.
But there is a 12,000 rupees increase in content, or is the same as earlier? The content I'm saying.
Content would be almost same, but there would be delta volume coming.
Okay. And can we provide the sales segment-wise, like how much we have done for passenger vehicle, ACs, CV buses, radiators and all?
So I can give you a broad numbers of how much we have done in car. Total 680 crore, 586 crore is sales for car in Q4, and roughly 94 crore is for non-car. Out of that, 60 crore is coming from home aircon, and the rest 34 crore is from truck, bus, and railway, etc.
Actually, I wanted to for the full year, how much we done for radiator sales in car ACs?
For the full year?
Yeah.
So full year, out of 2,235 crore, that is the revenue coming from operation. Cars would be roughly 1,600, around 1,700 crore from aircon product and 300 crore from radiator.
300, okay. And buses?
And buses would be roughly 25 crores and truck would be 60 crores. Home aircon 127 crores.
And we also mentioned that you got first rail coach AC business awarded. So this would be what size?
So that is roughly 12 crore rupees is the first order we got as a first entrant to this, and that would be supplied in this current financial year. That is under final now manufacturing and would be supplying from maybe August onward. August to November is the delivery time.
Okay. So obviously we got new orders and we are very strong in your car ACs, buses, and CV as well. But railway, how do you see the business like over the next 2-3 years? Not that we got the first order.
We are focusing very high on that because railway definitely it is moving for EV in a first preference. So our products are already lined up now. We started getting business for EV railway also. And after this coach AC, the product is finally approved and supplied as a first lot. Definitely we see a huge potential here. So we are hopeful that between maybe 60 to 90 crore is the potential which we can realize in 3 years' time from railway segment.
Okay. And what is our market share you mentioned in CVs and buses? I missed that number.
CV, I think it is 43% and buses it is 27%.
Market share, okay. And we talked about products for EVs. cars and buses as well. So where we are in that process right now, and by what time our product should be in the market?
In passenger vehicle segment, we are at a final stage of product evaluation, and in fact in Mahindra we have already pushed our products almost at a final negotiation stage. Now since Maruti has also announced their plan for EV launch maybe in 24-25, so that is also lined up now, and products evaluations are started happening now. Bus aircon EV, we already supplied our kits for final fitment trials and field trials. So they are also at a final stage. Railway, as I mentioned, we already supplied the EV kits now. So things are at a reasonably advanced level.
Okay, and this bus aircon is like, say, it is from, say, companies like Tata Motors or Ashok Leyland or some other supplier, some other player?
Other for body builders also, including JBM and so.
Okay. And any color on how this, for this passenger vehicle car, how the content of the AC product versus the normal IC engine car, now that we are already at final stages and negotiating?
So in IC engine AC, if it is X, so EV side it would be roughly 2.5X.
2.5X. Okay. And you said that margin side, so obviously you said that second, third derivative, the commodities we have not got passed through. But are we getting timely passed through in, say, main plastics and all, which probably are covered with OEM, or there also there are delays happening?
No, plastic and aluminum we have no challenge because it is almost back to back, but there is a time lag. So time lag can be 1 quarter or a 6 months based on different customer contracts. The major discussion which we are happening is in steel or some ABS or some nylon material, which is different non-regular commodities. That is what we are negotiating.
And lastly, in terms of capex, how should we look at FY23?
So capex, last year we have done roughly capex of 90 crore, and we have restricted it that whatever is the internal accrual, we should be able to do capex within that. So no additional borrowing was taken to manage our capex, and the same trend will follow in the next year also, and we'll be doing capexes from the internal accruals only. Roughly between, since there are 2-3 new projects are lined up now, including our Chennai plant preparation for Toyota supply. So we are keeping our capex around 100 crore.
Okay. And what kind of numbers we can look at from that project basically on monthly basis?
For which one?
Toyota Maruti.
Toyota Maruti would be maybe between 15 to 20 crore would be per month revenue coming in when the peak volume will start.
In terms of volume, how that would be?
Volume would be between 10,000 to 15,000 per month.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. So the next question from Mr. Sanjay Atrupani, Envision Capital. Please go ahead, sir.
Opportunity. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Yes.
So mostly I've got the answers, but I just wanted to know that what are we moving ahead with this rail AC business or railway business which we have won for 12 crores orders? What is this exactly we are working on this?
So we are working on coach aircon. So far our presence was on a driver cabin aircon. So we were present with CLW, IC, and now we started moving for coach aircon, which is quite large potential. So that is our development activity.
Okay. So let's say once you bid for this rail orders, what is the margin component in the rail orders? I mean, if you can disclose it, if you are able to tell us something on that, the margin.
I will not be very specific in numbers, but I will say that coach aircon definitely is because the revenue per unit price is quite high, so they are comparable and they are better than other few segments.
rest is that the Chennai plant which you mentioned, when will this be ready? I don't know if you mentioned this in your opening remarks, but just wanted to confirm that by when this will be starting.
Chennai plant is already existing for last 5 years, so they are supplying for all CV segment and bus segment and railway segment for last 6 years rather. Now Chennai plant is being prepared for Toyota Maruti Alliance project. So this is only incremental thing which we are preparing there. The new line is set up. That would be operational by August and September as per the SOP date of this project.
Okay, this is very clear, sir. And any revenue and margin guidance for FY23, if you are able to tell us, and the current order book in line with, I mean, if you can mention anything on that.
So, since we have done roughly 2,235 crore revenue during this year, so I'll only mention there are definitely many uncertainties attached to this. The risk factors still are not eliminated, but we are sure that we will do double-digit growth.
For revenues?
That is for revenue. So revenue we will be doing double-digit growth from the current base of FY22, and definitely margins will also proportionately increase because incremental revenue will not come with a proportionate fixed cost. So definitely there will be improvement in margins.
Okay, and the order book visibility?
Order book for our kind of business is not really important because once we are present in the model, we are there for 5, 6, 7 years, whatever is the product lifetime. So for that number, much of double-digit growth, we already have secured orders.
Okay, this is very clear, sir. And last one thing from my end is that, I mean, some earlier participants spoke to you and you said that we'll be very aggressive in pushing localization within the next 3 years. I mean, what is this point exactly? Can you please elaborate on this?
So localization information we have been sharing for last 3 years, that when we were around 40% of our purchases or the revenue was coming from import. Right now we have reached to almost level of 17-18%. So 20% localization we have already achieved, and now because of the volatility, it is important that we push it further. So remaining 18% which is remaining now, we have aggressive plan to bring it to less than 10% in next 3 years time. For that, projects are lined up and we are pushing localization.
Thank you so much, sir. This is all from my end, and good luck.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. So our question comes from Mr. Abhishek Jain from Dolat Capital. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, industry is targeting 15 to 18% volume growth in the CVs. Would you outperform industry growth because of this new business you are getting from Toyota Maruti Alliance and the strong outlook for the CVs and the bus aircon?
So, Abhishek, I just mentioned before also that the growth will be in double digit, that is for sure, based on the base of 2235. Yes, of course, we are aligned to the industry growth and it could be slightly better than that, but I will not be able to be very specific. This, which is definitely is factored as of now.
And sir, what steps are you taking right now to protect your margin, which is going down every quarter?
So I think I already replied this question before also, that for gross margin improvement, our focus is definitely on localization, material cost optimization, and on operational efficiencies, whatever we can get as a benefit of productivity and operational efficiency improvement. All these plans definitely will support us in improving margin, both at gross margin level and also at EBITDA level.
Sir, what about the pass on this commodity inflation? As you mentioned that the realization growth was only 2-3% in the last year. So that was much lower than the commodity inflation. So, can we expect that some cost will be passed on in the coming quarters to the OEM?
No, I think the recovery, because last year our settlement for commodity increase, which was non-regular commodities, started from second quarter onwards. So we got a partial settlement relevant for maybe 1 quarter or 2 quarter, but this year definitely there will be a full year recovery. So as long as commodity prices are stable or there are certain incremental impacts, that compensation would be there. Right now we don't see anything that we have to pass this benefit back to the OEM, because we don't see that commodity prices will sharply decline now in 1 year's time.
Okay. And sir, what is the outlook for the CVs and truck sector growth? As you mentioned that your growth in this year, it was around 43% versus the industry growth of 28%, right?
Yeah. So commercial vehicle truck market is definitely now at a very sharp recovery path, and we have seen 2 years as a sharp decline. So now the recovery is very high. Of course, one reason is that the base is low. But having said so, 43% growth in FY21-22, we see more than maybe better than 20% plus delta can be the growth here. And the added advantage to us is that AC fitment ratio is also improving in trucks. So that would be added advantage to us for the growth as a growth driver. Now coming to bus aircon, since schools started opening and also tourism started coming back to the regular, so whatever was held back in last 2 years will definitely support us as a key driver to the sales in this year. So we expect these 2 segments definitely will be growing much faster and much better than PV segment.
Okay. And sir, how much is the current content per vehicle in the bus segment, ICE and EVs both?
So normally bus aircon is ranging between a small bus starting from 75,000 with the large bus up to 3.5 lakhs. So that is IC engine based aircon, and if we go for EV, so it would be roughly 1.4 lakhs to maybe 5.5 or maybe 6 lakhs or so. In some cases it may be 7.5 to 8 lakhs also.
So there are n numbers of the orders are coming from the government for the EV side. So have you started to supply to these players?
Not yet, because they are right now all imported kits, because it require a validation, because EV definitely is a new segment and all OEM want to evaluate product for Indian requirements. So localized products are still under evaluation.
So can we expect to start the production from next 2 to 3 quarters for these EVs buses?
I'll say that maybe some portion in Q4 and rest of the portion will go in next financial year.
Okay, sir. And sir, during this quarter tax rate, during this year the tax rate stood at 28%. What would be the effective tax rate for the FY23-24?
Effective tax rate for 23-24 will remain 30 to 32%, and from the financial year 24-25, it will be 22% plus surcharge. So effectively 25%.
Okay. And my last question is regarding the inventory situation. How is the inventory situation for the finished goods right now? Is it at normal level or at a higher level?
You are talking of inventory?
Yes, sir. Finished good inventory.
Finished goods inventory. So normally we count on a total inventory as per our system, because finished goods we don't keep normally the big stock at our end. So inventory levels are slightly high in this closing on 31st March because of, as I mentioned before, the lead time of containers and the shipping issues which are happening because of Ukraine war and because of China and other things. So our inventory is almost 10 to 15% higher than before. But we are sure the kind of recovery we have, and these inventories will be liquidated in this coming year.
Okay, sir. And the last quarter, sir, how was the capacity utilization in passenger vehicle AC?
Capacity utilization?
Yes, sir. In capacity utilization in quarter 4?
Capacity utilization in quarter 4 is almost 85 to 90%, vary between different products. So we are almost at a 90% utilization level.
So as you mentioned that next year the capex would be around 100 crores, and we are looking at industry growth around 15 to 18%. Can we expect the further capex for this passenger vehicle AC segment?
So this issue I have already explained number of times that when we say capex directly related to the market growth, it is always an incremental capex because there are certain base equipment which are there for even 2.5 million requirement also. So right now whatever we are talking about is only the bottleneck operation where the investment would be incremental, not the full line investment. So that's how out of 100 crore, a substantial portion will go into that capacity bottleneck recovery. And in the next year also, whatever market growth would be there, we will be spending, continue spending on capacity build up on incremental basis.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. That's all from my side.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. So our next question from Mr. Vidru Mehta from Aditya Birla Money. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Sir, just correct me or help me understand with respect to EV front. You said that content in IC engine is, if it is X, then in EV it would be 2.5x. So is there any major modification or higher the content which is required when we supply it to EV?
So EV, the major change is the compressor, and compressor price between IC engine compressor versus electric compressor is almost 10 to 15x. So since compressor contribute a substantial part of a kit, that's why overall on the kit size it would be 2.5x.
Okay, fair enough. And with respect to demand front, you guided that for FY23 it would be double digit. But if you could help us, some more, if you could give more color on your major client Maruti as to what are its plan in terms of production schedule, or what are in terms of for FY23. Will the monthly run rate which they have guided probably say for first half or first quarter?
So I don't want to be controversial by announcing any OEM plan, but of course the broad mathematics says that in the month of May 21, when there was a lockdown, and now we don't expect that such lockdown will happen. So 1 month production recovery will give you roughly 10 to 11% volume growth in any case as a base. So that much would be there, and 4 to 5% would be the natural growth overall as an industry. That's how industry is talking between 15 to 18% growth. So this is the broad basis on which we are saying that our growth also will be on a double-digit basis. And on top of that, the other key sales driver for us is that this Maruti Toyota alliance, which will be an incremental sale for us because that's a new model, not part of our existing product profile. So that will be addition, which is maybe starting at the maybe last month of the this financial year, maybe middle of the financial year, maybe September. So that 6-month sale would be the delta for us. So that is making us confident that we can do double-digit growth.
Right. And sir, any update on the Denso new product or technology which was likely to come in?
So Denso new technologies, we already started now lining up, and as I mentioned before, compressor technology transfer has already completed, and we started this new vane rotary technology for India market. This commercial production has already started in January 22. So that is the third project Yes, this is the third project which we completed successfully after the equity infusion. So first project was a new rack condenser, that is regional efficient condenser, 11.5 thickness, which is the slimmest condenser in the world. That is the newest technology we launched in India. And after that we had this new efficient radiator, also is the slimmest radiator in the world. That is the second technology transfer which we had post equity, and also we got from entrustment to our TA-based production. Third project which we have executed now from January is the new vane rotary compressor, that is SVE08. That is also a new series of vane rotary compressor, first time launched in India. That is the third transaction, and now we will be upgrading SV08 to SV10 so that we can cover even B plus and C segment vehicle also on that. And the fourth project with the new technology transfer as part of our collaboration activity would be part of this Toyota Maruti Alliance project which will be starting maybe in August and September. That is also there. And for hybrid vehicle also, the technology transfers have already happened, and when this new hybrid vehicle will be launched by Maruti under maybe Toyota Maruti Alliance project, that will also be commercialized maybe in the middle of this year. So a lot of progress now it is happening, which is almost confirmed.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. So we have a follow-up question from Mr. Ashutosh Tiwari from Equirus. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, what is our share of business in Tata and Mahindra now, and also we can highlight Maruti?
So in Mahindra we are at around 28% of share of business with them. Tata passenger vehicle we have a very low share of business, but in CV we have around 58%. And in Maruti, we have around 76%.
So, with Mahindra, have we improved over last 1 year, or in
yes, earlier 16% of their share of business. Now we have improved to 27, and maybe based on our business engagement right now with them, by end of maybe middle of 24, 23, 24, be touching around 40%.
Okay. And the 16% number was there in which year? Like last year or 21, 20?
3 years before. 3 years before.
Okay. And Tata, like say, can we make some progress over there as well?
Still under progress in PV segment. CV we have made substantial progress, and we are there in almost all the platform of CV with Tata. But on PV side, still we are in discussion for the new technology launches, including EV for future.
And who will be supplier over there, if you can provide the color?
Who will be or who is?
Who is the supplier in Tata Motors PV business?
Right now, I think on IC they are having Air International. That is their subsidiary company.
Okay. So in this truck AC business, like you mentioned that the share of AC is increasing. So what is the penetration right now? How it was say last year or 2 years back?
So as you know that right now the notification or the regulation mandate only the ventilator, the blower only in the AC in trucks. But optionally OEM started launching this AC trucks, and they have seen quite a encouraged feedback from the market. So earlier it was only 6% AC fitment ratio, which has already increased to around 15 to 17% now with the different OEMs. So it is seeing a upside trend, even though the regulation may delay, but still I think if end consumer find it beneficial to have an AC truck, then definitely this penetration will improve in future.
Okay. And lastly, when we say these SOBs, these are, we measure in terms of overall value or only HVAC we look at?
No, we count it by the overall thermal buying product of the customer, which is aggregate of all the products.
Okay. And you also mentioned about new hybrid project of Toyota Maruti. So this is actually in which segment basically?
It would be in B plus segment.
B plus.
Yeah.
Okay. And in this your radiator business, mainly supplying to Maruti as of now, right? That 300 crore revenue is mainly from Maruti only.
So
Or Mahindra or Toyota as well in that.
No, it would be to Maruti, to SMG, and also now it would be starting to Toyota. So this radiator will go to 3, and the next year we will be supplying to Mahindra tractor also. So that
Mahindra?
is now Mahindra tractor.
Okay. Okay. And the content will be higher in tractors, right?
No, it is not grossly different because radiator is a radiator, so it is not substantially different. There may be a 10-15% plus minus, but it is not substantially different.
Okay. So this can also grow ahead of industry basically, this segment, radiators.
Of course, and this tractor market, since Mahindra is quite pioneer in tractor market, and this new Mitsubishi Mahindra Alliance project which is coming now, that will have our product going into, and this would be exported to US and Japan also. With that route, we will get into a global entry of our product.
Okay, so as of now, this is only limited to Mitsubishi M&M joint project.
Say again, please.
So as of now, that supply to Mahindra tractors is only to this Mitsubishi M&M product.
Yes. As of now, yes.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So our next question from Mr. Shyam Sundar from Sundaram Mutual Fund. Please go ahead, sir.
Taking my question. So you mentioned a share of business with Maruti at 76%. Is it fair to assume on the new model launches of Maruti, whether it be Maruti Toyota or Maruti's own complete model, new models per se, our share of business will be maintained at the same 76% level? 75, 76 in that range?
I will be more optimistic. It is going to improve. Sustain
Okay.
plus, it is the plus.
Okay. Understood, sir. That is helpful. Sir, one other question. On the RM basket, if suppose passenger vehicle aircon is say 100 rupees, I'm just assuming 100 rupees as an indexed price per se. How much of that is actually can be passed through, and how much do we have to absorb per se, sir?
For RM indexation, you are saying?
Yes, sir. Suppose it is at 100 rupees for a passenger vehicle aircon. How much is can be passed through, and how much do we have to absorb per se?
I will just give you a ballpark figure. I may not be very precise in that, but it would be between 70 to 30 ratio.
Okay. So 70 can be passed through and 30 will have to be absorbed if at all there is a fluctuation in that, depending on both. Got it. Sir, and any currency fluctuations that we had in this quarter?
Currency fluctuation, yes, there is, but based on our hedging policy, we have tried to cover that or protect that.
Okay. Understood, sir. Understood. Thank you very much, sir. I'll call back in the queue.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. So the next question from Mr. Aditya Makharia from HDFC. Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Just one question on the currency fluctuation. The yen has actually weakened very sharply versus the rupee and even the dollar. So isn't that beneficial for us? Because imports you said are 18%, right?
So since it is a back-to-back pass on with the customer, and we hedge as per our customer reimbursement also. So no major benefit of this currency movement either side.
Okay. But let's say 6 months later, it will benefit us?
It is on appreciation side.
Okay. But going ahead, okay, right now your contracts are obviously you're hedged. But 6 months later, will you have to pass on the benefit to the customer, or can you retain something?
Which benefit?
Sorry?
Which benefit pass on?
No. The currency weakening, the yen, so imports are going to be cheaper for us, right? So now you are hedged in this quarter, I understand. But as you move forward into next year, you will get fresh orders and you will be importing material. So at that time, with the yen falling 20-25%, will that benefit us in any way, or it will just be a pass-through?
It will be passed through because it is a quarterly pricing with the customer on currency. So if it go up, customer will increase the price. If it will go down, customer will decrease the price for the foreign currency content.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone keypad. So there are no further questions. I would now like to hand over the floor to the management for closing comments.
Thank you very much. I think we have addressed most of the queries which we have. Only one positive thing I can mention here is that things started normalizing now, other than a few disruption on the supply chain. But based on the experience of last 3-4 months, where OEM started getting some firm supplies of semiconductors, schedules for this year, FY23 is looking promising. And we right now, based on the current business assumptions or the situation which we have, we are hopeful that FY23 would be much better on the top line side. And of course, the challenge will remain on the bottom line, but based on our aggressive plans, we will recover some partial thing in FY23, but future is definitely very, very promising. Good luck and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Aditya Birla Money, this concludes the conference call for today. Thank you for your participation and for using Doorsabha's conference call service. You may disconnect your lines now. Thank you and have a good day, everyone.